next topic that we are going to talk about is circumference and area of a circle. Actually, today we are just going to talk about circumference of a circle. We're going to break it into 2 days. Before we start, let's just think about the question, what is the difference between circumference and area? You should be familiar with circumference and area from middle school. Circumference is like perimeter, except we talk about perimeter with shapes that have straight sides. In a circle, it has curved edges, so that is why it's called circumference. Circumference is like perimeter. It is the distance around the circle. So underneath here, I'm going to draw a circle. All right. And if I was talking about the circumference, I'm talking about the distance around the circle. Area is the space inside of a circle. So if I have a circle and I was talking about area, I'd be talking about the shaded area, all that space inside. So circumference would be like if I had a pool that was circular shape, how much fence would I need to put around the pool? If I were talking about area, it might be if I had a grassy area, how much grass or sod would I need to fill in that entire circular area? All right, let's briefly talk about the features of a circle again. In this picture here, we know that this is a radius. And in this picture here, we know that this is the diameter. When we talk about circumference, there is a formula that goes along with it. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Or you may see circumference equals 2 times pi times diameter. Times the radius. 2 times pi times the radius. These equations are exactly the same. 2 times the radius really is our diameter. I wanted to show you both of them because when you take a standardized test or you see them written in a different type of textbook or somewhere else, you might see either one of these. The one that we are going to use most often in our class is the first one. So I'd put a bubble around that first formula, pi times diameter. Let's remember, we had Pi Day. Let's remember what pi really stands for. Pi really is a number that never ends, but we usually call it 3.14. When we do our work, we're going to use 3.14 in our calculator. Let's take a look at our first example. Find the circumference of the circle. So, circumference. Let's write down the formula. Circumference equals pi times diameter. The way I want to write this is circumference equals pi is really 3.14. And we want to multiply it by the diameter. Well, let's take a look at the information we have here. 4 is not my diameter. 4 is my radius. If I wanted to find my diameter, the diameter is actually the whole length. And that means this piece would be 4, so the whole length would be 8. My diameter is 8. That's what I want to plug into my formula. 3.14 times 8. So it's time for the calculator. Let's take a look. 3.14 times 8 gives me 25.12. Our units are inches. When we talk about circumference, just like perimeter, we leave our answer in inches. When we talk about area, we will do something else with our units. So 25.12 inches is our answer for circumference for the first example. Let's take a look at our next one. Same thing as this problem here. Directions say round your answer to the nearest whole number. Let's cross that out. And we'll say the nearest hundredth, which really is 2 decimal places. All right, so this one is very similar to the one we did right here. Our radius is 6, so that means our diameter, double it, is 12. That's the number I'm going to want to use when I plug in. Circumference formula, C equals pi times the diameter. Circumference equals 3.14 times 12. Plug it in your calculator. 3.14 times 12. 37.68. Circumference equals 37.68 centimeters. Let's take a look at number 2. Very similar to the other two we've done. Radius equals 9, which means the diameter equals 18. That's what we're going to use to plug in. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Circumference equals 3.14 times 18. Calculator time, 3.14 times 18, 56.52. Sorry. 56.52 feet. Like we say in class, make sure that you are using your calculator while we are doing these notes and while you're practicing yourself, because if you're just listening to me and not practicing, it's going to be more difficult to complete the next page on your own. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Number 3 is a little bit different than the other two examples here. All right, in these examples, you were given the radius. In this example, we're given the diameter. The diameter is 16. Well, isn't that what I'm looking for? Let's just use that. Circumference equals pi times diameter. Circumference equals 3.14 times 16. Calculator time, 3.14 times 16. And circumference equals 50.24 inches. Plugging the numbers into the formulas is not difficult. The part where people just make mistakes is being a little bit careless and not looking at the information that's given to you. If you're given the radius, make sure that you double it to get the diameter. If you're given the diameter, just use that before you plug in.